Time now for the big board. Team of insiders ready to weigh in on today's story. You see TJ right here. We're going to talk to him in a minute about the Cavs and the Warriors. But first up, we've got Judge Aaron Persky. You know his name right now. He's that controversial judge who presided over the Stanford sexual assault trial. And he's got another trial coming up facing a lot of backlash as well. Let's talk to Sonny Hostin about that, our legal analyst. And Sonny, you've got the DA in another case trying to get him removed from the case. They succeeded as well. They said, we lack confidence that Judge Persky can fairly participate in this upcoming hearing in which a male nurse sexually assaulted an anesthetized female patient. Pretty rare.
It's very rare, George. This is something that just doesn't happen. It's just not done. When I was a prosecutor, I never asked for another judge. I never advised anyone to ask for another judge. It just doesn't happen. And the reason it doesn't happen is because prosecutors are repeat customers of these judges. You're in front of them day in and day out. So the message from this DA is very clear. He wants this judge off the bench. He wants to be done with this judge. And this judge now is in a lot of trouble. His position is just really compromised.
And Sonny, I want to ask you, several potential jurors have also refused to work with this judge on this new trial. They were dismissed before he was pulled by the DA. How effective do you think he can be moving forward?
Well, listen, Lara, the bottom line is the judge is the captain of the ship, right? The judge is sort of the leader in the courtroom. When the judge loses the confidence of his team, it is game over. It happened in the O.J. case. I know that my good friend Jeff Toobin is up at bat next. Judge Ito lost control of the courtroom. Guess what? Game is over. T.J. Holmes is up next talking about the Cavs, talking about Golden State. Imagine if Steph Curry doesn't listen anymore to Steve Kerr. Game over. This judge has got to get off the bench. Game over for him.
Good analogies. Good analogies. Sonny, we thank you teeing us up for our next two topics. We're going to talk to Jeffrey, as you said, the compelling ABC ESPN documentary O.J. Made in America on the notorious athlete and his double murder trial. Author of The Run of His Life, The People v. O.J. Simpson, Jeffrey Toobin, featured prominently in the documentary, joins us now. Jeffrey, you literally wrote the book on O.J., but you say there are things in this documentary that surprised even you.
Absolutely. And let me give you a real important example. The length and intensity of O.J.'s abuse of Nicole. There's an interview in this documentary with with Nicole's roommate when she went on her first date, and she came home with all her clothes torn. All of us knew, of course, that O.J. had been convicted of domestic abuse once, but it was so much more than that one incident, and that is something that is a very chilling fact that comes out of this documentary.
That is chilling, Jeffrey. And, you know, last week I was talking to Gil Garcetti, the prosecutor, said he learned from this documentary that O.J. deliberately didn't take his arthritis medication, so his hands would swell, so he wouldn't fit in to the glove. And the glove is, you know, a real focus of the documentary as well. Of course, the defense implicated that Mark Fuhrman planted it, and he's a big part of the documentary as well. What's your impression of Mark Fuhrman now?
Well, you know, Mark Fuhrman is not an appealing character at all. My original story in The New Yorker talked about his history of racial abuse of African Americans, and he is not a sympathetic and he doesn't really give any apologies in the very long interview that he gives in the documentary. However, what he does is he shows that the defense theory that he planted the glove and framed O.J. Simpson is simply absurd, that it is not technically possible that he could have done it, and it again is another piece of evidence that, at least in my view, points to O.J. Simpson's guilt in all of this.
All right, you know what? I want to talk about the Bronco chase. Everybody remembers where they were. Do you remember where you were during the chase?
I was at my girlfriend's house in high school.
You were?
Yes.
Well, I was a little older. I was just out of college working at News 12, and ironically at a bar. But I remember watching it on TV. Do you remember where you were?
I was speaking at Northwestern that night, and I was with a buddy after it, watching it on TV.
You were too much more honorable than mine, but we all remember it. And we're getting a new perspective on it in this documentary, Jeffrey, because we're hearing Al Cowling's 911 call. Anything new for you here?
Well, you know, the Cowling's 911 call explains in part why the prosecution did not introduce that evidence at the trial, because he talks about how O.J. is so distraught, that O.J. wants to kill himself because people think he did something wrong. And the prosecution made a lot of mistakes in this trial, but I actually think they were right not to introduce it, and this jury wasn't going to convict anyway.
Okay, Jeffrey, thanks very much. TJ sitting right here. I guess you're on your way to Cleveland, though, for Game 6, the NBA Finals tonight. Cleveland versus Golden State. And it's going to be such an exciting game tonight. There's also a heartwarming aspect of the game. TJ, Craig Sager, TNT sideline reporter. But ESPN is giving a chance to actually call the NBA Finals tonight.
Yeah, and the reason this is a big deal, you don't see this kind of collaboration where talent is loaned to another network. But Craig Sager is a beloved. You see him there, a beloved member of the NBA family, known for those crazy jackets, and he's just an icon, really. But he's never gotten a chance to call an NBA Finals game because he works for TNT. TNT doesn't have the rights to the finals. Well, he was diagnosed with leukemia in 2014. He was out for about a year. It was in remission. Now it's come back. So ESPN actually reached out and invited him to do this. And it's just a great collaboration. He's going to get to call his first finals game. And guys, if it hadn't gone to Game 6, he wouldn't have been able to do it because he's been going through chemotherapy. And this was his only opportunity. So if it would have ended in 5, he wouldn't have gotten to do it. He got to 6. We get to see him tonight.
Meant to be, don't you think?
Yes.
All right, so as for the game, the Cavs took Game 5 in Golden State. Warriors All-Star Draymond Green is back. Now another key player out.
Andrew Bogut.
Yep.
Yes.
What does it all mean?
I don't know if Sonny, do you want to take this? You seem like you wanted to do the reporting on the game here. I'll do the legal
You know I like
analysis
basketball,
next time.
TJ.
Yeah. But no, Draymond Green, all eyes on Draymond Green. He was suspended for a little dust-up he had with LeBron James. Kind of took a swipe at his man region, if you will. He was out last game. LeBron had a great Game 5, went off. But now Draymond is back for this game, and we shall see. But they could get this thing to 7 games, and I'd be going back to Oakland possibly for the 2 best words in all of sports, Game 7.
NBA Finals.
Yes.
Games tonight. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Sonny. Game 6 is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC.